Hey everybody, welcome back. It is the Fantasy Rugby Yanks. My name is Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauber.
With us today, we have a very, very special guest, and Ben and I were very excited when he agreed to do this. He's talked to more cool people than Ben and I have, that's for sure. But so the fact that he's talking to us by proxy, I guess Ben and I now have, but different story for a different day.
That's right.
But he's the man that is known as Eagle Overseas on social media everywhere. He talks to all the Eagles out there. Bill Baker, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you very much. So great to have you.
Thank you guys. First of all, let's set the story straight. You guys bribed me. I had no other choice but to be on the show. I think you also said you were going to kick my dog if I didn't do it. So I'm like, all right, fine.
Never ever, as dog lovers, never ever.
Yeah, no, we would that would be known as a lie.
That's a known lie. No lie.
Now they know you're lying.
Right.
I love what you do. It's fantastic. So I'm a big fan of cheerleaders, and for you, the way you compile all of the information about what's going on with men and women playing overseas, I can only imagine the work that you put in to make that happen. And we are I'm incredibly impressed. I think I speak for Jared on that too. We know how much work we do, which is to do the minimal stuff we do. What you're doing is really impressive. So kudos. And I'm feel very fortunate to tell you that, well, screen to screen. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. It's just like you guys, it all started because of the love of the game. So it just, it just grew from there.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a golden era for Eagles going over for US players going overseas.
Seems to be, yeah.
So I think your job's going to get a lot busier.
Well, I mean, all the women, especially joining the Premier 15s, it just has picked up. And I thought for sure we had more MLR players since last year joined, but they haven't as much. So it's it's all good.
I think we had Mikey, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, he was on what do you call it, the medical joker, which is funny to say over there, but he's probably going to be there for a little while longer. Obviously,
he's there for a while at this point. He's been there most of the season, so good on him. So we do have a fairly sizable contingent of overseas listeners, comparatively at least, compared to our US base. So if you're
big in Belgium.
Yeah, we're great in Belgium. Oh wait, Ben, hold on before we get too far.
Yeah,
crack.
I'm thirsty.
First of all, but Bill, while I do this, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about Eagle Overseas and what a little bit about the social media and then about obviously what you do, talking to players like. I like Mike Friday. That was cool. I love Mike Friday. So.
Nice. Yeah. That was a fun interview to do. Yeah. So I started Eagles Overseas a number of years ago. First of all, just to kind of track our players and give Eagles fans a chance to find out how they can even watch them on TV, and so some of my earlier posts were, hey, if you VPN into Perth and do this and then and give $5 to your buddy Bill, you can watch the game online and only get 3 viruses. So it started off that way, but then I started finding out more and more information. Oh, Tony Lamborn did this. Okay, I should repost that. So it started off as more of like a news aggregator, and it still mostly is, but I'm starting to produce my own stuff, write my own stuff also. But it's also, and ever since I started the Eagle-Eyed Rugby Podcast, which been about over a year and a half now, I've been interviewing guys like Blaine Scully, Kate Zachary from Extra Cheese Women, all the Dan Lyle, some really big names. And I feel extremely lucky that they were even reply to my emails or my DMs. But I'm finding out like Blaine was saying, listen, he loves Eagles Overseas because his mother would follow me to find out how he did with Cardiff.
That's brilliant.
I know. And it's like, she had no idea unless I called her after the game or whatever. And it's like, she would see photos of your post or news clips or a news story I found, that kind of thing. And so I found that to be similar for a lot of players. They said, there's just nothing in the States. I mean, obviously you guys know over the last few years or so, there's more and more rugby on TV. I mean, Peacock, it has all these and this and that, a lot of our players still are hard to find them, especially the top 14 players, Pro D2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got the Southern Hemisphere, which really, I think there are actually a couple of players down in the Southern Hemisphere right now that are lesser known players. but I only have a certain amount of hours in the day to work on this stuff.
Yeah, right.
And
they're
not
playing when we're asleep. So
exactly. So yeah, I started off like that. I started the Eagle-Eyed Rugby Podcast after I sent out questionnaires to players like Paulo Sike, Joe Taufe'e, a few others, like the beginning of COVID, pretty much saying, hey, here's a list of questions. Go ahead and please, when you get a chance, reply back.
Mhm.
And basically I asked them what they were doing during COVID, that kind of stuff. And then I'm like, I work, so my full-time job is I work in TV already. I'm a producer and editor in sports broadcasting and corporate work as well.
Ooh.
And usually behind the camera. So getting in front of the camera was something that was like, okay, well, let's see how this thing goes. Only a certain amount of alcohol my listeners and viewers need to drink to enjoy it, but still. Please. But the players jumped on board because honestly, you guys know, it's just to be recognized as a rugby player in any facet. I mean, we have clubs you guys played. Oh, you played for what club? Mm-hmm. But to be known as playing rugby overseas, playing your trade in a high level league is really big. I mean, Andre Doratello interviewed him last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's played everywhere,
yeah,
and he almost capped for Fiji, which is awesome. And I still think about the interview. He was inches away from capping for Fiji international, so we never would have saw him.
No.
But those guys are 100% happy to talk rugby. And thankfully I kind of built this trust or a brand over the years where I'm not just some guy going, Hey, Todd Clever, you want to talk? And last thing about that, I mentioned on the Blaine Scully interview last year, I jokingly, you guys have watched those games, have seen those games. He was like, USA, when he scores in the corner, is it Captain America, which is pretty much every American that goes plays overseas if they do well. But I asked him, so are you able to cross the street without being mobbed by fans? He says, Bill, it's rugby. I still go into bars. Someone might buy me a beer or take a picture. That's it. But yeah, I mean, I know it's a long story than you guys probably wanted, but it's such a love for the game and just being able to relay their story. Some of the guys, it's more about how they got into the sport, which is still a thing for us, right?
Yeah.
For England, no one really cares if Williamsworth started playing rugby at 6 years old because the soccer coach said he sucked. No one really cares about that. For us, it does because it's still a grassroots sport.
Right.
So, I'm spreading the love. I'm a fan also like you guys. I want to talk to these guys. I want to ask certain questions. I want to help them get the word out. And if in my search for rugby players, I help Gary Gold and the men's or women's team find a diamond in the rough, then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy that guy's t-shirt one day.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's it.
That is fascinating to me, the way rugby is in the US, as far as, I mean, it's so in its infancy. And it does seem like we've been talking about for decades, really, about how we're so close, like the sleeping giant is about to wake up. Yeah. And, Kiwi result aside, I feel like there's portents of good things great things on the horizon. Like what has been promised is about to be delivered. And, but we need, we need people doing this, promoting American rugby players and because, when I was playing, when I was in my, mid 20s, late 20s, when I was really at my peak and, playing a little international, not really, like there was no pathway. There was no, there was no professional rugby in America. It was just like, okay, we're all up for a piss up and that's about it. Like we'll go play, we'll kick some ass and then we'll have a beer.
Yeah.
Or 20. But like that was it. And now it's good. I mean, it's great to highlight the successes. It's like these guys. Yeah. And for now it's fantastic that we can follow them overseas. It'll be great when, the US is the place to be for rugby. Hopefully that happens.
Hopefully in our lifetime. Yeah. In our lifetime, hopefully that's a place. But you're right, Ben. It's like, but still you look at MLR is still grassroots. I mean, some of these players like Chance Mangluski is designing the logo for Atlanta, back then. And San Diego was playing one of their first games. They had pretty much like conduit pipes as their posts. It's like, this is Major League Rugby, guys.
I remember that. I do remember that one. I was like, ooh, that doesn't look good.
You're right.
Oh man,
my old club used PVC piping, but that was D3, and it was
exactly
club rugby.
Yeah, it was club rugby.
Big difference. Big difference. Yeah. So this is it's awesome to have you on. We're obviously good. The main reason we brought you on is to dig into MLR. Obviously, we're gonna go ahead and give ourselves the usual rundown that we start with. I won't spend much time on it, even though I love it all. Buy our friend George the Fantasy Rugby Geeky coffee. Don't forget that. We have a lot coming up, you're gonna want his advice. Grab a hold of that. TRM upgrades, again, a lot of fantasy rugby coming up. Make sure that you get yourself some of those, and it supports the RPA Restart Rugby. Love that. As always, Black Lives Matter on this podcast. There is no room for racism. There's a lot going on that we can talk about today.
Right.
We've already dove into a lot of other things, so we won't burn the time right now, but it is always worth to remember that. And then our Patreon, make sure you grab that. We're back into the Prem this week. You know that you want it. If you want to be cool like Duncan or Alex, grab a hold of that thing. Mark, sorry, buddy.
Mark's on his way. He's on his way.
Yeah, he'll get there.
He just started. But yeah, the latest update just dropped today. So if you have the Patreon, you'd already have it by now.
There you go. All right. Let's dig into MLR preview. We actually haven't done a formal one of these since the inception, and this is year 5, so it's about time we got off our butt and did this.
And the Free Jacks look like they could be really good this year, so
I am excited for that.
I'm with you about that. Yeah,
cannot wait. So yeah, where do we want to start with the MLR? Should we start?
Let's go west.
Okay, fair.
Let's go west. We'll finish with the best.
Okay.
Save the best for last. But yeah, so obviously the talk right now, the talk is 2 teams. It's Los Angeles and San Diego, because they are just both loading up, and obviously there's a big bit of news today that dropped, and Matt Gitto's going back to the Giltinis. I was like, oh no, now they're going to be really good.
Yeah.
Not that Luke Carty wouldn't have done the job, but like, whoa, that dude's going to just make them infinitely better. Mm-hmm. I'm terrified. I'm scared. Don't hurt me.
Well, hopefully someone out west can take care of them, so we don't have to.
Preferably.
Anyway.
Yeah. I'll ask you this, Bill. Who besides Los Angeles or San Diego is going to could take the West?
So let's see. Who's in the West right now? Let's think here. List those teams for
Houston,
me.
Austin, and Utah might be the team. Now that I'm thinking about it, and Seattle.
You know what? None of them. I'm going to be honest with you. None of them are going to do it. Seattle, they're not going to do much. I mean, Seattle still has. I mean, they have Iosefo, which is great. One of my favorites ever, Samu Manoa, is still around, but that's it. I mean, they really haven't done a lot. The Texas teams. Dallas is the new team. They just, they're not going to be the new team like last year, like LA was. They've had a hard time keeping a head coach. They do have the number 1 pick out of UCLA. He's supposed to be pretty damn good right away. And some crossover athletes. Like, they're one of the only teams that really have a lot of USA players, more USA players than overseas right now. But still, they're not going to do anything. Houston, I think, has something. I think Houston's not going to be a bad team. They've kind of been the bottom for a while. But if you look at, they just picked up like 3 props, which is crazy. They got the former Legion prop, Aaron Mitchell, Giltini's prop, De Beer, and American Raptors guy, Pona Davis. But you look, they have a lot of sevens guys, Danny Barrett, Unefu.
I saw that,
Christian Dyer, and then they got Mahoney from San Diego. Now, is that enough to really upset LA? Yeah, who knows? Who knows how Danny's guys are going to fit in right away with 15? Yeah. So that's a growing team. And I guess my point is, nobody. They're not going to upset LA.
Yeah.
Utah, again, even with Utah, they haven't done a ton in the offseason. I always love Paul Mullen in the front row. I mean, Sean Pittman is a great coach. But, other than, let's see, they lost Michael Baska. He's a hell of a player. Mike Teo, whatever.
I don't get that. Why did they get rid of Baska? Like, that caught me by surprise. I thought he was one of the best things that we saw in the summer for the Eagles, and they're gonna ditch him. Like, what happened? Did somebody,
who knows?
You make fun of somebody that he shouldn't have? Like, what happened? Good
Yeah,
Lord.
I mean, out of that bunch of guys, I mean, Utah. Utah has a chance, but again, I think that's a really low chance.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything on the ins that makes me jump, and they needed some more ins. And Mikey Teo's great and all, but he's starting to go the way of the dodo here soon.
Yeah.
So
he's definitely more of a sevens player than 15s. So
we saw that from the beginning, but that's a different
Right.
story for a different
Exactly.
day.
Yeah. I wasn't really impressed with him this past summer at all, but
Same.
that's just me.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
I was
Well,
screaming at the TV. So was Ben.
Yeah. Well, because we've never really been, outside of sevens, we've never been Teo fans.
Yeah.
Like he does some exciting things, but I mean, he'll turn the ball over more often than he'll do something great that actually works. And it's like when you're living and die on that knife edge, you better be doing more good than bad. And yeah,
Right.
He's definitely starting to do a lot more bad, unfortunately.
Yeah, he just seemed to step behind everything and confused at times. But I mean, it was one of our first games back in years, but still, he just felt like he was just so slow and just not there.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. But I do like freaking gigantic wing that they have that played for the U.S. And why am I spacing on this?
Oh, shoot, I can't remember his name either.
Why am I just having this freaking brain fart? He was great in the fall too, and I can't even. Why am I freaking losing my mind here? Okay, that's going to.
Oh wait, there it is.
Yeah, I'm missing too.
Mika Cruz.
Yes.
Oh, Mika Cruz. Yes. I like him.
He was fantastic. I thought he was great. So he'll be a good piece for them to hang on to. I would not let him go anywhere but Europe if they could help it.
Right. Well, he's clearly the best. Well, the better wing of those two, or the better back three, certainly of those two.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, all right. So it's down to Los Angeles and San Diego, likely in the Western Conference Final. Who's going to take it? Like, there's a lot to like about both teams. I'm a big Nando fan. I don't care how old he is. Like, I'm a huge fan of that guy. I'm also a Hurricanes fan, so that's why. So, and he did a lot of damage for them in his youth, and
they got Will Hooley. So
yes, that's right.
Saracens fans too.
Yeah.
So
I was so sad we lost him.
I'm super hopeful that it's San Diego over LA.
It's great to see Will over here too. He and his wife are doing love in California. Who wouldn't in San Diego?
Right.
I'm actually interviewing him on Monday for the Eagle-Eyed Rugby Podcast. And I've had him a couple of times on over the years, but now I want to talk to him about his transition from Saracens to MLR. But and he's had issues with head concussion issues, that kind of stuff. So hopefully he's back, ready to go. I like San Diego. I'm going to tell you right now, they have a really good chance of beating LA, especially late in the year. If Rob Shaw can stay healthy. And there's Sam Wuching's gone. I never really thought Wuching was really that, the guy who's going to do it for him. He's a hell of a player, but just not that guy. But Rob Shaw, Nanu, like you said, Joe Peterson's returning. Those guys, and you look at all these Eagles: Osberger, Mattias, Malcolm. Ben Mitchell's returning also. So it's just a lot of international talent. Younger international talent. When I say younger, I mean like 3 years younger than Ashley Cooper.
Oh, God. At least he's not playing anymore.
Exactly. And you look at the Giltinis. Now, I don't know how influential how big they'll be with their success, but Luke Carty's he may be out for a while. I just talked to him the other day. He's having an MRI this week and possibly surgery on his shoulder. So shoulder and pec. So he could be out for a while for them. And again, I know. I think he did great with USA this summer. Good. Okay. But there is, they have the Australian scrum half behind him or in front of him, Harrison Goodard.
Yeah.
So again, there's a lot of, you got the LA Australian old boys against older people from around the world, the other team or some younger guys. So that's going to be a good match. If that could possibly be the Kansas City Buffalo game at the end of the year.
Right. Back and forth, and last person with the ball wins.
Exactly.
Yeah. Would not complain about that at all. I mean,
no, not at all. They did grab a couple of notable MLR names with Sears Duru and Hammersize. When they signed Hammersize, I was like, oh, that's not fair.
Right.
That's not fair at all. Come on.
Hold on. His name is Hammersize.
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm not that good.
No.
I'm not that good. I try, and it just gets butchered it. I'm just like, I'm just gonna say it. I wish I was better than that. I really do try, but man, that's just, I don't have that phlegm in the back of my throat to make that happen. It's like,
did you mention Tom? Did you just mention Tom Mitchell as well? I don't know if I heard that.
I don't. Did I miss that one? Yeah,
I don't think.
I guess
you mentioned it.
Former England Sevens captain.
Right.
That's a good.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, there's a lot to like about both teams. I'm with you guys. I hope it's San Diego. I really do.
No, not.
Yeah. You won't hear me complain one single bit. Shift to the East. That's a different story. I think is more of a wide open can of worms at this point. Mm-hmm. Every reason to think that the Free Jacks might get into the playoffs, especially considering they brought back a lot of the really good parts of their team from last year.
Are there any teams in the East that you can count out from winning the East?
No, I don't have that, at least.
Yeah, I do. I have Atlanta.
Oh, that's true. They've been depleted. That's true. I'll give you
Atlanta's falling apart right now. They got no coaching staff, and Chance Manglusi's left. Yeah. One prop doesn't do it all, but still, he's an influential guy in that team.
He is quite the prop to lose.
I know, but they're in trouble. They also lost what's his name, Robbie Petzer.
Yes.
Marco Keefe. They all left, and so and I'm not sure who they got, to tell you the truth. So don't ask me.
I'm looking at the ins that I know that are listed right now. I don't see anything that jumps off the screen to me. So that's not great.
Nope.
Yeah, no, none of them.
No. Yes, they had Escura. That's right. He's gone. That was a good one as well.
I do honestly think, and DC haven't really impressed me. I do think this is ripe for the picking for the Free Jacks, and I'm not just saying as a homer. New York will have a pretty good team too.
Yeah.
But
yes.
I think this could come down to New York and New England, but we can't forget about Toronto as well.
I don't know a lot about them. Lost a bunch, so that's where I'm feeling there's a.
But here's the thing about Toronto: it's they're finally going to be able to play a bloody home game for the first time in how many years?
That helps.
A home game last year was not a home game for them. The occasional fan here and there. Being able to sleep in a bed that's your own and having fans behind you that are your own is a totally different thing. And so I would not count them out by any means whatsoever.
Hey, speaking of that real quick, Jared, San Diego again, they had a crappy year last year a lot because they had no home. Remember that?
It's true. That's true.
They didn't play it.
They were all over the place. That's right.
Yeah, they're in Vegas, other places. That didn't help at all. My talk with Ryan Mattias, he said it was really hard. Wuching said the same thing. It was so difficult to live out of your suitcase every game.
No doubt at all. Yeah. So there's that as well. So it makes me more confident in the San Diego thought, at least. Unfortunately I've seen at least one, if not maybe two, U.S. rugby pundits, which doesn't count as much because if you're a U.S. rugby pundit, you need to maybe find a new life.
You're not paying the bills.
You definitely are not paying the bills with that, no doubt. They put the Free Jacks near the bottom. I was like, nope. Yeah. I am like 99% sure that is going to be very wrong.
Yeah. I very disagree. Just and again, not from the homer standpoint, but from they were a damn good team by the end of last year. I realize there's a coaching change and that'll affect things, but the talent is there. And that there's a core group of players who know how to play together and know how to communicate and operate together. And then you add some of the talent that they've added, and there's every reason to think that there's certainly no reason to think that they would end up at the bottom. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? Obviously, unless some sort of major injury situation, which nobody wants to see.
No. Well, you think sorry, Ben. You think about the players they lost. Really, nobody. I mean, Camarati went to the Premiership. Kenny back to Japan, but Kenny didn't play.
No, he didn't play. Did he play even? I don't think he played one match.
He played one or two matches, and then that was the end. I think he either got hurt or just decided that he wasn't playing anymore or whatever.
No, he got hurt. He was in a boot, so I think he had a high ankle injury, something like that. He was in a boot for way too long.
Right.
Yeah. But we have sad to lose him, Tembu and Wakanabao. Yeah. And Tola too.
Those are the three guys that caught my eye when we weren't getting them back. But less Matembu, more Morris Lome, but that's it.
Well, who were the names we heard the most last year? Dougie.
Right.
Fife, Johnson,
Right.
Lars,
Harry Barlow.
back. He's healthy. Waka. Come on.
Yes, the
Right,
Waka.
we love Waka.
The Waka. We love the Waka.
Yeah.
I mean, those were huge. And I mean, Dougie Fife almost could have made the Six Nations side for Scotland the way he was going. We all talked about that. So the core from last year, I really think is still there. And then you add in these. I hope I'm not jumping the gun here, guys, but you add in who they picked up, like 20 new players and size. They already played great defense last year. I mean, they stopped teams from making the gain line so often. It was just so much fun to watch. And they added more size at center, all over the place. I mean, I have no reason to believe why they won't improve on that. And you know what? Honestly, I'm going to, without mentioning these players yet, but I'm going to give a lot of credit to TK, Tom Kindly, because he knows there's a few players from Otago that he knew really well. And a lot of these signings has his, I haven't talked to him about this, but has his name all over it. Like the new coach really, Matthew really relied on TK to help with the signing of players. And I'm telling you, they got some gems here, and I'm excited.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. The biggest one that jumped off the screen that wasn't here last year that's here this year is Jesse Peretti.
Yes.
The big Kiwi. Yes. I saw him and I'm like, that is a perfect partner for Josh Larson in the second row, and can also play 6 when need be. Yep, sign me up all day. I love that.
Yeah, he's actually, as far as I know, I thought he was more of a back row player, but he definitely is a lock as well. I mean, 6'4", I think he is.
He's a ginormous human. He can play
245. Yeah, and but he's also one of the oldest of the bunch they signed at 28. Not that,
Woo-hoo, 28
not that,
years old.
He's so old.
Send me back. Shit. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why I don't play on any teams anymore.
Show's over.
and that really was that lock position was really was their biggest weakness. It's and there wasn't really a close second. So it got better as the year went on. I thought Deebs really grew into it over the year, and obviously Cap's doing great, but we still needed some help beyond that, and
no depth.
Yes.
And reinforcements have arrived, so I think that's it bodes well. If everybody else can do their job. Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So 4 new locks, I think they signed. I think it is, or one of them is development contract.
Yep. And a whole bunch of new props, which is excellent.
Yeah, need those front rowers, man.
Right.
I tell you what,
see our friend out there anymore, which would be really nice.
Fingers crossed, please.
Yeah.
You know what? One of those props I think is one on kind of my list of players to watch is Tafita Sol, the Tongan U20 player.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's 22, 6 feet, 265 pounds, guys. Jesus,
Woo!
6 feet.
He's a
He's
bowling
not
ball.
be pushed around.
He's a bowling ball. I love it. Yes. Give him the ball 2 yards out. He'll do it.
He's a guy you don't want to drink with because you'll be the one passed out.
Yeah.
But
Probably. I agree with that. I love it. Yes. No, give me that all day long. And and in my opinion, we have one of the best young halfback combinations in the league with Boyle and Poland. I love Johnny Poland especially. I really, really do. I think he's just love this the way he plays. He's got that. Ben, you know who he reminds me of is Dan Robson.
I mean, every good scrum half should remind you of Dan Robson.
I like Dan Robson a lot.
But I mean, it's that do it all, the be a pest. And I'm going to just run, 50 meters on you because you gave me this.
You gave me the gap. Thank you.
You can, yeah.
Can and will.
Right. So, yeah.
Man. So,
sorry, the other lock there, by the way, Regan O'Gorman.
Okay,
where did
he come
from?
Regan? Yes, the Gilgronis guy.
6'6", Canadian international. I don't know how many caps he has, but possibly a partnership with Josh.
Right.
That could be a good pairing.
I'm sure there was a little bit of we've heard it in in other sports where guys get together on like all-star teams and are like, hey, why don't we team up? In this case, it may have been, hey, why don't you come play for us? We can still build our camaraderie, our relationship as professionals here, and then we'll take it to Canada, Team Canada too. So, if that happened, if it didn't happen, don't care. That's the way I'm seeing. That's my story. Sticking to it.
Sticking to it.
So one more thing. I know I'm probably screwing up your rundown. All this
no,
stuff,
don't worry about it.
No.
All right,
not at all.
So
not
here,
at all. I'm enjoying this.
here's my favorite signing of the Free Jacks this summer, and it may or may not come as a surprise. Okay, it's Alex Johnston. Okay, and here's why. Do you know why? Because he's the brother of Joe Johnston. So
that's right.
That's right.
That's right. I remember that. He's a prop, isn't
for
he?
Joe to be in this side of the world without family.
Mhm.
Although we have rugby family, we all love that, obviously. But to have his brother here,
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
I think that's going to be huge for Joe more than Alex.
And I love the
And
mechanic.
Joe is already a great player, and I'm a little disappointed he didn't accept the invitation to play for USA this past year, which he was offered.
Mm-hmm.
He has his reasons. Good for him. But I really think having his brother here, I'm telling you, that's going to really help. You know how it is. Sometimes teams sign players just because they're great clubhouse guys, whatever. They're not going to score tries,
Right?
but they help the team. He's going to be the one.
Yeah,
Mark my words.
I completely spaced on that, and you're right. And he's a front rower, which is always valuable, whether he's coming off the bench or not. So as on top of that, and if you place anything like Joe plays,
Right. That's the thing. Like if you can have an energy guy or a locker room guy, or a mascot type guy, and if they can't play, then it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But it's like, okay, I have no doubt that Johnston can contribute because he's at Johnston. There's and I know his brother will kick his ass if he doesn't. So
I can imagine that
brawl.
Yeah. Oh God. I'm anxious to see. One reason I love Joe Johnston is because of his receding hairline. It's just like the guy's like 24 or whatever, and he looks like the hair of a 50-year-old. But anyway,
just cut it all off, Joe. Just be done with it.
Right. It's not that bad. It really isn't. I mean, okay, now it's this is not voluntary anymore. But when I did it,
when you started doing it was.
I'm getting there. Don't worry.
I remember that. Trust me, I remember that.
Yeah.
Any reason to not think that we have a battle of New England and New York in the Eastern Conference Final?
Are you coming to me? Sorry, I don't want
anybody.
Yep.
Yes,
Anybody.
Yes, I'll jump in because I talk.
You're the guest. You get to talk.
You put a beer in me. I'm like, hey, people listen to me.
Yes, this is why we drink.
All right. Here's why I think I can't say Rooney because they're not Rooney anymore. This is why I think Rugby in New York has a chance of upsetting New England because you got Sam Windsor again, chance everything else. Actually, I'm going to go back the other way. This is why they won't upset New England. Okay. Ben Foden's out for a while. We're not sure how long.
Right. I saw that.
Dancing on ice is what I read the other day.
Oopsie.
Yeah. Which is what the famous wealthy athletes do. They get invited to these things. He's important to that team. Like he's been a leader in that team for a number of years. Nick Savetta's awesome. He's a great leader. Breakley's right there also. But as far as leaders go, I think Ben's going to be hard to fill in for. So, and they're still, I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but they still haven't announced where the hell they're playing this year. So we're 11 days out to our first game. And they're like, oh, well, we're going to play in Central Park. I don't know. So they haven't done that yet. Also, I don't know if that bothers the players because they're probably not playing at home until the fourth week in the season or something like that. But
same as us, probably.
Same as us, so.
Well, we don't actually further when our first game is against Toronto, right?
Yes, it is.
Sorry, I'm not playing, but
no, keep talking that way. We like it.
Right. But anyway, I do feel like there's going to be some issues as far as leadership on that team, which could leave a gap for teams like the Free Jacks. Nola possibly jumping in. I don't even know why I didn't mention Nola earlier. Nola's a good team.
Yeah, but
it annoys me. Still annoys me. Though.
I love Dino Waldron. I love Cam Dolan. I love they have a nucleus down there that I tell you what, we should have won that game, by the way, in New Orleans last year.
Oh man, we totally botched that game.
By the way,
botched that game.
So I interviewed Cam. He was in Ireland getting ready. No, actually, he was in England getting ready to move to Ireland for that game this summer. And I had a nice 20 minutes with him. And I said to him, so Cam, that short line out that you guys had that resulted in a try, there's no way that was straight. I don't know if you guys saw that at all.
I remember that because I
There's
was yelling
no
at
way.
it. I was yelling at it.
I know. And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. You kind of
that's a
Confirmation.
That's definitely the answer. That's the
and
answer
I believe he said, you know
know
what? He said, you know what? We're a growing league. The referees are still learning. We're fine.
yeah,
yeah.
I'd say so.
He is absolutely correct about that.
That was so infuriating.
Yes, it was.
Same as MLR being helpful for players, it is also helpful for referees because we need to get some of these referees, like the ones that are good, we need to get them at a higher level, and they need to pull up the other referees because it's pretty shit house sometimes.
It is. No argument on me. Okay. All right, Bill, we're gonna go on a little trip around Europe here. This is what everybody else is tuning in for, probably. A little jaunt around the Champions Cup. It was a big weekend. Obviously, we closed out pool play and got our answer on to who plays who in round of 16. Got thrown a bit of a curveball with Cardiff getting a 28-0 win over Toulouse. That did not. And
Toulouse still qualifies. Toulouse moves on it, and
right.
Cardiff does not. That's pretty fucked. But
it's so bad. It feels a little backwards, I know. But that's how it is. That's where we're at. Leicester, we probably thought that they would at least win against Bordeaux, so that's not a big deal. Same for Rossing. We thought that 28-0 might be a favorite of Saints, honestly.
It might.
That could have been 40 to 50 points easily.
That
because they hadn't played a lot of defense in this competition yet. So all bets were off on that one. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna worry about that one either. But Quins and Cast on Friday night. Ben,
game.
Can we first of all, before we get into the good stuff, there are a lot of people that gave me shit for the guy that I didn't like about that was in the middle of this game. Can I just say this is what I was talking about?
Right.
That was awful.
There's no better words than "I told you so." And Adamson is a poor referee, and you put him in charge of an important match. Of course, he's going to bottle it. But to be fair, on the other side, how much sympathy do I have for Cast?
You don't have any. I know that.
I have zero
I know that.
sympathy for Cast.
I know you don't.
They're a team that doesn't really care if they're in this competition. They don't really want to be a part of the competition. They kicked the ball dead when they still had a chance to win a game.
Against Munster, yeah.
No, you don't. Sorry,
I agree.
You don't
I
get to
remember
complain. Now neutrals can, certainly neutrals can absolutely have a right to be pissed at Adamson. Whereas others like ourselves were cheering the hell out of Alex Dombrand getting over somehow.
Yeah, give it to him. Give it to him. Everybody.
Like the whole time you're just like, okay, yeah, this game is kind of close and all that, but and you're just seeing that, like, it's like Chekhov's gun. You know Marcus Smith is there. He's just on the bench for now.
Yeah,
he's going to come in, and
was.
that was always going to be the result. So, yeah.
No, it was. So, I mean, but loads of credit to Cass for rocking up.
That was impressive. That was unexpected. Completely out of the blue.
Freaking Rory. I didn't see. I did not have Rory Cockett scoring a couple tries on my bingo board. Or you got two, right?
I don't remember.
Am I crazy about that?
Yeah, it was two.
Yeah. Okay. So did not have that on my bingo board by any means whatsoever.
I saw him getting marched back twice.
I got
more
one.
Than scoring twice.
Oh, he had try and assist. That's what it was. But still, just the same.
Still,
I did not have that out there. I'm glad Tommy Allen at least survived most of the match.
Right.
The first couple of times he's been in there, it's been not great.
It's the first time he's come off for a tactical change, so that's good.
Yeah. No. That was I'm so glad he didn't get knocked out again.
Right.
Like, God.
And then Joe Marler was Joe Marler.
God, he totally accepted that yellow card too. Like, fair enough. I'm good.
I love him.
I got caught. I'll just sit down now.
Yeah.
That was so great. I was like, okay, he knew he screwed up.
Right. Well, the best was his own scrum half, because he basically stepped on both scrum halves' hands there. And his own guy's laying on the deck like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Not me. Like, yeah. So
friendly fire, bro.
Well earned yellow.
Oh man, I love it. I love that. But in the end, yeah, there's two things that are inevitable, and that's Don Brandt and Marcus Smith.
Right.
And geez, they go both really good. Eddie,
He's
are
okay.
you watching?
Marcus Smith's okay.
Yeah.
he's no AJ McGinty, but that's just me being partial.
I love me some AJ, and we'll talk about AJ in a little bit.
I know,
He was rather brilliant as well. But yeah,
Yes.
Marcus Smith should be bang on 10 shirt for England. I don't care who the hell you ask.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt now, but
Look at his
I
chance.
don't think there
As
should
far
be.
as-
I don't think there should be, but
now with Farrell, well, it's certainty now with Farrell on the shelf for basically the entirety of Six Nations, from what I hear.
Sounds like it. A match we won't spend too much time on. Bath Leinster. Womp womp. No shock. Just wow.
Leinster's killing everybody.
Yeah.
The only real I guess talking point from this match was Bath's injuries and what that means for them.
Yeah.
in the
Underhill.
Prem.
Oh
Underhill,
man.
yeah, that's like as bad as this season has gone for them, losing, two of their best, and Bayless has been playing lights out, and to lose two of them in the space of a minute, when they were rocking up, they were playing hard. The final doesn't show it, obviously, but I'm sure that those early injuries were really, I mean, Leinster were always going to win. Let's not, I'm not trying to say there was a chance. There wasn't a chance.
They were.
But Bath were really showing a lot of heart and were rocking up, and that really took the wind out of their sails.
Just got to feel for him. And
yeah,
Underhill needs to sit for a little while now. That's 2 in like 3 weeks that he's gotten banged real hard. So have him sit for a wee bit there, boys.
Mm-hmm. And Mike Williams came in and didn't
get a card.
How does that happen?
I should have bet that. Damn.
Right. I wonder how much money you could have gotten if you bet Mike Williams and Thomas Lavanini get no cards
in the same weekend,
or through Champions Cup at all. Like, that's pretty impressive.
It's true. Yeah. And although I think one of them missed a couple games, so
still they played more than 10 minutes each and they didn't get a card. That's pretty impressive.
It's true. It's so true. That's why it's way too funny for anything else. Shit. All right, let's go over to
I'm done with this game.
Belfast. Let's go to Belfast because that's way more interesting. And that is Ulster and Claremont. And Claremont really putting a good performance in, but they saved it for way too late.
Way too late.
Way too late. What were you guys doing? Good Lord.
Yeah, they hit the snooze button too many times in the hotel, and just till about halftime.
What the hell?
Maybe a little earlier. I can't remember when they started to turn it on, but
right around when Raka scored.
Yeah.
Van Tonder scored first. That's what it was. When Raka,
it was like late. It was late. It was like,
yeah, their first 3 tries came at 69. First try came at 69 minutes. Oh, did we lose Ben? Ben, you there?
I think you're ready.
There you go.
I'm here. Sorry about that.
Attaboy. Yeah, but they had 69 minutes of their first try. Like,
yeah,
Ulster were already firing on all pistons by that point. Dopes.
Did they qualify? Though?
They did. No. They're right at the bottom. They're 8.
Claremont
are.
Okay, so
8.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because they got the well, they didn't need it, but they got the point to
the bonus point. No, they didn't. They wanted to make sure that they weren't going to get eliminated by 2 bonus points or anything like that.
Yeah.
So probably a good decision on their part. Ben, did we see 2 potential Ireland starters scoring in this match in Herring and Lowry?
I think so.
Yeah.
Herring's been playing ball.
Yeah. His just lights out. Lowry is fun. Lowry's so much fun.
Amazing. I mean, their whole back 3 has been fantastic to watch. Ulster's. So Balakoon, we talked about him last week. Just delicious. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that they both play. I certainly, Herring. Yeah,
he's got Kelleher to deal with. That's the only problem for him.
But that's it. It's Kelleher and Herring should be the 1-2.
Agreed.
But yeah, Lowry, I hope so. But there's so much talent in the Ireland back 3 now.
Extremely.
Like,
think about the guy that Ulster and Ireland are missing too.
Right. No, Zebo's back.
Jacob Stockdale.
Oh, Stockdale. Yeah, Stockdale. Well, and what's his name? Lowe is injured too.
Yes, also.
And they still have choices upon choices.
Oh, I know. It's a good time to be an Ireland rugby fan. No doubt. No doubt, especially with the excitement that they have in the backs there. But yeah, so Claremont finally put in a performance on the road, which is not usually their norm. Right. But hey, I mean, kicking the first 4 penalties might not have been their best decision, because remember you and I were talking about, they only need 2 more tries, because we thought they had a try unconverted and a converted try, and then we both went face palm and realized no, they have 4 kicks.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah, but you always hit the points. You got to take the points, right? In hindsight, I know.
I'm a hard disagree on that. That's my.
Well, it depends on the momentum is. If your momentum is kick to the corner and drive it in, maul it in, then of course. But yeah.
To me, it depends. It's like it depends on who the opponent, what the score is. Yeah, if it's like early on in the match, sometimes depends on the kind of match you're playing and the kind of match you want to play.
Right.
But with Ulster, with those just the firepower on the other side, you kind of you're in a try fight. You're not in a and I think this competition specifically is try fighting, not so much. You're not going to see many 12 to 10 games in this competition.
Correct.
Certainly not when you're playing the top of the class. So
let's jump over to Wales and Llanelli, Scarlets and Bears. Pat Lamb, something you and I didn't know, Ben, because Johan Lloyd at 12 was working until he went off.
It was working very, very well.
I did not. I was looking at that, scratching my head when the lineup came out, and I think you were too, Ben, and we were just like,
I was like, oh, they're running. They're just going to run.
I mean, clearly that was the only strategy they were going to go with.
Like, obviously, they're not putting him there to crash. They're putting him there to operate in space with Radradra. Yeah, and whatever Lamb has gotten, whatever happened in the first 10, 12 weeks of the Prem season, I think Lamb has started pulling the right levers. I'm sure it has nothing to do with Semi Radradra coming back.
No, nothing at all. And all the people that were shitting on him,
right?
Like, he's not good. I'm like,
well, look at
we sure about that?
Yeah, I mean, but the whole, you could go down the list of Bristol, and who played well, like Radradra, Lloyd, as you mentioned. Pierce was lightning coming in for Lloyd. Purdy and Morahan, same thing. Now Lago gets over from the bench. Piatow was fantastic till he got hurt. Thacker and Bubbles, Callum Sheedy and Chris Vui and Luatua. And
Vui.
That offload.
Oh, that was dirty. That was so nasty. My jaw hit the floor with that one. I was like, what was that?
I was like, yeah, glorious. I could kind of see it coming, but I was still like, he's Vui, so you never know.
He still could have done it. He still could have just done easy around the corner one. And nope, I'm going to do this one right here behind my back without you even knowing it's happening.
Yep. There was no way for the defender to come off onto Lloyd.
No, that was filthy.
And of course, we got to talk about Ben Wyatt out there, Harry Randall. Also, I had it in my notes as Robson, because he was just a pest. Every single time he had a chance to knock the opposition off their game. Every time he had a chance to just kind of stick it to Scarlets a little bit, he did. And yeah, beautifully well played. He's obviously been watching the film of the greats that are right there in the Prem with him.
Yes, sir. I agree. But it was and this is the Bristol we all want to see. Fingers crossed, with a week of rest for them. This is what we see when they come back. Glasgow and La Rochelle, 30-38 is probably very generous to Glasgow in many ways.
Yeah,
they had a lot of moments they just kind of stumbled and fell on their face. And
to me, this was the same kind of thing we were talking about before, where Glasgow, that's their game is keeping it tight, kicking for posts and kind of hoping their defense holds. And it did not.
No. I like what I see out of Papalam, and I'm wondering how long Ihia West's leash is going to be from here out. for La Rochelle because
Mm-hmm.
EIOS is getting old too. Number one,
Yeah.
there's also that, but they've more or less been searching for an answer at 10 that wasn't him, and not to say that he's been bad. Obviously, they got the Champions Cup final last year. That's nothing to sneeze at.
No.
But you still don't want that to be your answer long term. So
right, to make the Champions Cup final with a mediocre 10 is pretty freaking impressive. So
agreed.
But yeah, if they could do a little bit better than him, that they'd be super dangerous.
I agree, and I'm looking forward to see what they do in the knockout rounds, because
I did like Duncan Weir coming on and just saying, "Fuck this, I'm gonna throw just throw my balls on the table."
Man, he was just throwing everything everywhere.
Yeah. like
he wishes he was back in Worcester now.
Right. Well, maybe not so much now.
Oh yeah, that's true. Now with what we found out today, but yeah.
Right.
Jeez. So we'll see. I hope La Rochelle go well, and I hope we at least see them in the semifinal, because they are a fun team to watch when they are clicking.
Cracking. Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of fun things to watch, Stade Francais and Connacht on Sunday morning for us here.
Red cards ruin games.
A dumb red card, though, it will be said. Like
Right.
two very, very avoidable things for Talulatu to not do. One, don't hit somebody with your shoulder in a ruck when it's already taken care of. Took away a try too, mind you. And then the one person you're not going to want to tell that, to swear at, is Wayne Barnes. Like, he's not going to take it. And
Barnes,
go ahead.
Barnes warned him. Barnes said, "Shut up! Don't use that kind of language." And then he's like, "All right, there goes." Goes yellow, red, and I'm like, "What just happened?" And then he explains it, and it's like, "Oh, that's another yellow, and that's a red." Yep. Cannot argue that.
No. And to have two teams that just want to go for it really as well just makes a hell of a match to watch. This is the ones you want to show to somebody else that doesn't know what rugby is and be like, here, this is the fun stuff right here. This match right here is the good stuff. Because
you get a little bit of everything.
We got a card. We got two cards.
Right.
We got some swearing.
This is where I finally get to chime in, because I didn't see all the matches this weekend, but Luke Carty's brother had a good match.
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah. Damn it, Andy Farrell, you had to go do that.
Right. Can we have both? Just
he hasn't been brought on to a match yet. So
okay.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Until he appears in a match.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Yeah, quite good. Our old friend Nick Sanchez was standing tall in this one for the most part until he started to miss kicks. But as an open field play, very good. Yeah, and then some idiot said to pick up Kalen Blade if you needed a 9, because a lot of people needed 9s this weekend because of no DuPont and such.
Right.
That worked out all right.
How did he do? I didn't see the scores.
He scored once or twice, I think, at least once. Yeah, 57 meters. Yep. Got over the line.
Did okay.
And then our old friend Ben, playing 13 for Stade Francais and telling the All Blacks to pound sand. La Mape. Yes, absolutely, all day. Yes, he got the ball in his hands. And I'm thinking, this is in, because I don't care what's in his way. He's already rolling. You're not getting him over. Like, no way. So sure enough, bowls over, and this is really good to see Stade Francais firing again, because this was like a team that from yesteryear that was always fun to watch, and everybody knows the pink jerseys. Everybody knows those pink jerseys, and you want them. That's a team you want to do well in this type of competition, because they just bring it up.
Yeah, I love that they look like Capri Suns too. Like it's the perfect sponsor for that team.
I mean, the owner. That also helps that he owns part of that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he owns part of that. So
well, good for him.
That's why they're the sponsor. But hey, very good stuff for Stade Francais. And we'll get to what's going on the other side of this whole 8-team per league thing when we get to Wasp in a second here. But I don't want to gloss over Sale, but we can, because they just dominated.
They did.
Yeah. They absolutely dominated.
I mean, you roll out AJ, what do you expect?
Right.
I mean, I love that so I started AJ and Quirky as my my battery for my fantasy team. thinking that they would go, it would be a kind of a slog. They'd get decent points and they'd play, well into the match, but they had to go and get a bonus point. Like,
10 minutes in or whatever it was.
10 minutes into the second half. And it's like, all right, we're pulling everybody.
That's what it was. That's why I had 10 in my head.
Yeah. Right.
Well, this was just typically one of his matches where he's on his game and controlled everything. Just even that kick that led to a try, he tried it a couple times earlier. Just the confidence from him, just to place those balls in the right spot. I mean, just there was one that could happen earlier where it was in his hands. I forget the play on the wing there, in his hands, came out. But AJ Wade played like 52 minutes, something like that. Still had 8 points on the tee, right. And I mean that's pretty efficient.
Yeah, good day of work at the office there.
Yeah, and we've fairly well maintained, and it's again, we're not being homers. There's no homerism in here whatsoever. Outside of Marcus Smith, he's the best 10 in the Prem. And yes, that's arguable, but I'm going.
Well, if you start putting totals of points together now, think about the kicking the AJ does. Also, if you start putting stats together, like we do over here in the States and Major League Baseball, whatever else, AJ would be higher if you think about that.
Yeah. Well, you also look at to me again, I'm from Philly, so it kind of all reverts back to that. There's the Donovan McNabb factor. Like, he's doing great things with nothing around him. They've got a forward pack, but who do they have? Once you get outside the 10, there's just nothing there.
Tui when he's not broke. That's about it.
Yeah. And really. That's still what he's been there for, like, this is his second year and he's played like 3 matches or so. So
something like that.
And who knows how much better he'll get once he's under Pat Lam next year.
Oh, he loves Lamb. He loves Pat Lam too. So it's like it's gonna be so fun to watch him play there and what he can also then bring to the Eagles. And I was so excited when I saw that move announced. So I was like, yes, this is awesome for everybody.
Genge and Sinkler and
he's just gotta stay healthy.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. Yeah, touch wood, man. Keep that guy healthy. Yeah, we need him. But thankfully we do have Luke Carty kind of pulling up the rear now.
Yeah,
as a 10. I do like him a lot. I hope he gets healthy quickly for the MLR season, because the more MLR time he gets, the better it becomes, and the more notice you might get from somewhere else.
Right, absolutely
nice. Which would be nice. Another match that doesn't need a whole lot of talking about, unfortunately. Munster and Wasps.
Wasps had to put out they kind of had to put out a dog lineup.
Yeah, I mean, there was still some great names on this thing that I was excited to see. Robson, Odogwu,
right?
Like, I was really happy to see those guys get some game time again, because they've been benched and sidelined for so long. But when Michael LeBourgeois had to come in for Ryan Mills at the last minute, I was like, oh, there goes that.
That's that. Like,
sorry.
It's like, how we were talking about and Lloyd at 12. Michael LeBourgeois. The problem is Wasps don't really have that kind of attacking intent, and LeBourgeois, it's certainly, I don't know. He's a guy. He's a jag at best.
Yes, he is.
And that there were a lot of, like, they kept going through him. It's like, no, let him, like, cut out LeBourgeois, because he doesn't do anything good either on attack or defense. He's just a warm body, and give it to Odogwu, give it to Watson, give it to Crostet, like Boss, like they have some attacking intent out there. But it just, LeBourgeois just killed it early, and that by the time they took him out, it was night. They had no answers at that point.
No, they were already in deep trouble.
Here's my Eagles overseas twist of that is Roman Salanola. You guys, I think you're familiar with that name at all.
Yep.
Pretty much sealed the deal as far as ever playing for USA after signing a 3-year deal with Munster, which means, and I don't ever see him actually playing for Ireland because he's been off injured. He didn't play in this match also. Had a lot of injuries, so I'm not sure what he's thinking. He just loves living over there. Great, good for him. But he's definitely been invited to come to the USA camp. So
someday maybe.
Yeah.
Someday
keep asking, I'll say yes, hopefully.
Yeah, one day.
We'll see.
Right?
Yeah.
One day. But one of your favorite players on the other side for the guys in red sparkled quite well.
I mean, I'm not even sure who you're talking about. They had a bunch, but Ty Byrne was fucking excellent.
Yeah,
and
think
that's
faster.
Well, I mentioned Zebo already.
I know.
So okay.
Still, that's the guy I'm thinking of.
All right, yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, he just signed with Munster, and he's already like a crowd favorite. They love him.
Wow.
They chant his name.
Can't
It's
imagine
just,
why.
It's amazing.
Can't
Like,
imagine why.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the fact that he was there like 3 years ago.
Whatever.
There for the
It's not-
entirety of his career, sans
Yeah.
the 2 or 3 years at Racing. But nothing to do with that whatsoever.
No. Just
More to the point about Wasp, and I actually saw somebody finally point this fucking thing out on Twitter, and I was like, "Thank you, that's my point." 7 and 8 on both sides of France and England. The only reason that one of the 7 or 8 teams in France got in is because the 2 7 and 8 teams from England were awful. So
yeah.
and they were awful, and the 8th team for France was not good, so that didn't get in. So really, I know the previous format before COVID wasn't amazing. It is better than this, so we need to go back to that.
Yeah,
pretty please with sugar on top.
The bottom 4 teams on in both pools just really didn't have much business being there.
Nope. Yeah, and like, even though, because did they bring the 3 out of 4 Welsh teams? They were all bad, unfortunately. Gave us some entertainment, but weren't great. The one Scottish team they gave us was poo. All 4 Irish teams qualified, which is great.
Didn't they do that? They did that last year too.
Yes, I believe so. Did they? I don't think Connacht did.
Oh, I thought they did.
I don't think Connacht did. I don't recall that. If they did, it was like one and done. They were in and out. Possibly. That was the end. So that's all that bit of fun there. And then the last one of the weekend, this is why people were upset that Montpellier were playing the way they were in the first 2 matches of this comp, because people know that right there is exactly what they were capable of against, a team that's very, very much heralded, despite, what Ben and I say, in Exeter. It's guy named Koos Reinach was pretty good. So
he's really fast. I wonder if he's got runners in his family. No one ever talks about that. But to me, this was Exeter. Like, this is kind of what Exeter are. They gave their best shot to Montpellier, and Montpellier said, "Okay, fine. Like, we're good. We'll
suck you right back."
Yeah, it's really, the score sheet shows it. It's the Sam Simmons show for Exeter. And boy, did he show. But
he was stopped dead at least twice on each of his tries, right? So or at least on 2 of his tries. Like, he was stopped cold on 1 for sure, and still muscled his way over. And I was like, how the hell did he get through? Like, he is that good. We know that. That's not a mystery. But Sam is just absolutely amazing.
But it's like, for all the praise that they give to like the debuers who get smashed back. Every time he gets a carry, he gets like double tackled because of the way he runs and
gross,
driven backwards. And it's like, that's not good rugby. Like, but that's what Exeter play.
You could not pay me enough money to get on the debuers train. No way.
Well, like, if you notice, when they get to the goal line too, I could tell, like, you can almost tell when Exeter are going to score versus when they're not, if their rotation is off. So if their rotation is on, it was, if I remember correctly, LCD gets a pick, Skinner and Simmons. It's those 3, I think, at least in this match. If those 3 were in the rotation, they were going to do well. There were times when they weren't. They were support players in the ruck. It's just the way the numbers worked out, and they couldn't get unstuck from that. Right. And it didn't work. And it's like, well, if you only have like 3 players that are going to do anything, unless you're, certainly in this competition, you're not going to do that well.
Right. No, I totally agree.
Generally speaking, though, this is like the perfect bounce back for Montpellier after getting wiped off the pitch by Leinster last week. I guess the coach comes in after a match, says, "Okay, we have to play better against Exeter." I guess I did, right? Even just get a win. Is Exeter just that bad, or is Montpellier just had a bad day?
Well, I think Montpellier last week they were missing a lot of their guys.
COVID and named a soft lineup on top of that, so on and so forth. So
like, it's great to see.
Things.
we love Zach Mercer. We're huge Zach Mercer fans.
Mercer.
Right. and Reinach and all that. So there's a lot to like about the Montpellier's lineup when they're rocking up, but when they don't, when they're playing.
Yeah, that's the other one. I know there's another name.
When they're playing a Leinster, you got to rock up, and they didn't. But against Exeter, if you rock up just a little bit, you this year anyway. I don't know really don't know what happened to Exeter. Unless they've just been exposed and found out, and other teams know how to beat them because it's not that complex.
Like you said, Ben, toss the ball around against them, and they have problems. Not to say that they will lose every time, but when you chuck the ball around against them, you will have success. And whether or not it leads to a win, different story. But you have
a shot. That's your only shot is to play expansive rugby against them because they don't defend it well.
Yeah, but don't try and play their game because there's nobody better at their game than them.
Exactly. And a lot of teams are like, okay, it's the same thing as the South Africa, where they get you in that you got to play this way, and then it works. But the teams that don't do that against Exeter, you see this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And this is so. I mean, hey, we have another fun team to watch in the knockouts with Montpellier in there instead of Glasgow, which is not bad. In my opinion.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'd rather have Montpellier than Glasgow, certainly. Yeah,
I mean, I look at the names like I really like Rates and Boutier. Garbisi didn't start this game, but he's a possibility there. I do like Paul Willem, so we obviously love Zach Mercer. Kamara had a decent day, even though he's been pretty banged up over his career. But yeah, and then Gerardo and I don't love BPA. I wish they would start Gerardo, and I do like Philip Saint-Andre, who's in charge at Montpellier too. So, and I know it was mostly the chairman that came out and said, "Oh, this is a punishment for us doing well," but still, like that doesn't strike me as the type of person that Saint-Andre is. So, thankfully, that's not what happened, and we got ourselves a fun team to watch, and they were having a good time out there. I can promise you that.
Yeah, and I could almost see it being, Bill, to your point, like a plan. Right, you don't throw a fastball at Leinster because it's not going to end well for you. So maybe save up your ammo for Exeter, and that was enough to get him in. So
it was.
That's my only explanation for what happened last week, I guess.
Yeah,
that last week to this week.
Yeah, between the differential between the 2 weeks. So here we are. Wow, and now we have round of 16 ties. This is going to be so much fun.
And it's a leg, which is cool. So home and home.
Yeah. 2-leg series. Yeah. So we have Toulouse and Ulster. We have Bordeaux and La Rochelle. Ooh, fun. Montpellier and Quins. That should be very interesting. We have the Parisian Derby with Stade Francais and Racing 92 going at it. Clermont and Leicester. That should be
fun.
Wow, that's what a contrast in two styles, honestly. Connacht and Leinster, old friends. Sale and Bristol, again, old friends.
Yeah.
Exeter and Munster. Now, the last time Exeter went to Limerick, they were on the edge of getting into the knockout rounds of Champions Cup. I think at that point it was still quarterfinal and played a decent match, but did not put together the match they needed. So maybe this will be better off for them this time. The first round will be at Sandy Park, and then the return fixture. Yeah. So if you're the higher seed, the return fixture is the one that's at home. So like Leinster, Leicester, Bristol are all playing at home on the second leg. So it's up to the lower seeds to lay down the marker round one and see what happens the following week.
I honestly, I'm looking forward to watching the Connacht Leinster match. I think at Galway, who knows what could happen. I just, especially Zebo back, that kind of thing. Connacht, when they play in front of that crowd, it's something about it. It's electric.
Yeah. I mean, we saw what they did with Stade Francais out there. Even put in Leicester needed to win at the death the other week to beat them there. So yeah, Sports Ground is not an easy place to go. Leinster will know all about it, no doubt. But they both like to attack, so that should be a fun one to watch. Although an Irish Derby might change things, we'll see.
Too many. I mean, for my taste, too many derbies. I like seeing the cross league competitions. So I'm looking forward to the Toulouse Ulster. Yes, please.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Montpellier Quins, Clermont Leicester, and Exeter Munster. Yeah, those should be fun.
Those 4. That's it. Everything else.
Well, I mean, trust me, I'm not moving from my seat on that weekend anyway. So
no.
I have no reason to not watch the others,
except to get another beer. That's it.
Yeah, about it. Go to the fridge. Go into the fridge
and make a deposit, but that's about it.
Yeah, that'll happen too.
Hey, we're all live close enough. We should be meeting somewhere to watch these games if we're allowed to.
We absolutely should.
I mean, April. Hey, we'll see. I mean, fingers crossed.
You never know.
Right.
I mean, listen, Ireland just lifted all their sanctions, and they've been one of the strictest countries around. So fingers crossed, gents. We'll be there, and we can talk.
Right.
Free Jacks and all that stuff. Free Jacks open on St. Patty's Day weekend as well. So it's gonna be fun. Should be a good time. Yeehaw. All right. Damn, that was fun. So that'll do it for this one, kids. I cannot thank you enough, Bill, for coming on, and you're a gentleman. Thank you so much for having the heart to jump on with a couple of knuckleheads like us.
You guys know a lot, man. I this whole going through the championship rounds here, I'm like, I watched a few of these games, but Jesus Christ, you guys know a lot.
We have no lives. We have no lives. Let's be real about this. That's the only reason. Even when I missed, I was away for a weekend a few weeks ago, and I came back and binge watched every match. My wife was "Are you moving from that spot?" I was like, "No."
We also have very patient and understanding wives.
Yes,
that's key. Yes, success. No,
my wife played rugby, so she gets it. She was actually. So if it helps, she was excited that I was getting to talk to you. She's like, "Oh wow!" I love that guy. So,
well, where is she? No, just kidding.
Yeah, she's cooler than him. I know.
Now, I know. I do appreciate you guys having me on here. Anytime, guys. I love talking to you guys. And just one quick pitch here, and I think you guys heard about the live show we're doing coming up in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The USA Rugby Happy Hour on Twitter Spaces. We used to be on Clubhouse, now we're on Twitter Spaces.
Right.
Okay.
And we got George Killebrew, man. So, sorry, I just broke shit.
Don't lose it.
Killebrew's coming on, and we're going to obviously talk MLR. So more and more people get on there.
I think I'll be on that. Tell Will Hooley that a couple of Saracens fans are huge fans of his. So just tell him we said hi. But yeah, we appreciate you so much for coming on. Everybody out there, follow Bill at Eagles Overseas. Especially if you're a rugby fan in this country. If you're listening to the show and you live in the US, you should be a rugby fan for the Eagles. That's the end of that. So follow Bill, because he'll keep you informed on both the men and the women. Certainly it's where I go when I want to figure out what the hell happened this week in a weekend that I kind of got caught up in something else. But yeah, we appreciate everybody out there for listening to us. We'll be back for the Fantasy Corner in a little bit here. If you're coming along with that, we'll see you there. If not, we will see you next week. Thanks a lot again, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.
Later.
Cheers.